Daily Words of God. Genesis chapter 19, verses 1 through 11. And there came 2 angels to Sodom at even, and Lot sat in the gate of Sodom. And Lot, seeing them, rose up to meet them. And he bowed himself with his face toward the ground. And he said, Behold now, my lords, turn in, I pray you, into your servant's house, and tarry all night, and wash your feet, and you shall rise up early, and go on your ways. And they said, No, but we will abide in the street all night. And he pressed on them greatly. And they turned into him, and entered into his house. And he made them a feast, and did bake unleavened bread, and they did eat. But before they lay down, the men of the city, even the men of Sodom, compassed the house round, both old and young, all the people from every quarter. And they called to Lot, and said to him, Where are the men which came in to you this night? Bring them out to us, that we may know them. And Lot went out at the door to them, and shut the door after him, and said, I pray you, brothers, do not so wickedly. Behold now, I have 2 daughters, which have not known man. Let me, I pray you, bring them out to you, and do you to them as is good in your eyes. Only to these men do nothing, for therefore came they under the shadow of my roof. And they said, Stand back. And they said again, This one fellow came in to sojourn, and he will needs be a judge. Now will we deal worse with you than with them. And they pressed sore on the man, even Lot, and came near to break the door. But the men put forth their hand, and pulled Lot into the house to them, and shut to the door. And they smote the men that were at the door of the house with blindness, both small and great, so that they wearied themselves to find the door. Genesis chapter 19, verses 24 and 25. Then Jehovah rained on Sodom and on Gomorrah brimstone and fire from Jehovah out of heaven. And he overthrew those cities, and all the plain, and all the inhabitants of the cities, and that which grew on the ground. Sodom is utterly annihilated for offending God's wrath. When the people of Sodom saw these 2 servants, they did not ask their reason for coming, nor did anyone ask whether they had come to spread God's will. On the contrary, they formed a mob, and, without waiting for an explanation, came like wild dogs or vicious wolves to seize these 2 servants. Did God watch these things as they happened? What was God thinking in his heart about this kind of human behavior, this kind of event? God made up his mind to destroy this city. He would not hesitate or wait, nor would he show any more patience. His day had come, and so he set about the work he wished to do. Thus, Genesis chapter 19, verses 24 and 25 says, Then Jehovah rained on Sodom and on Gomorrah brimstone and fire from Jehovah out of heaven. And he overthrew those cities, and all the plain, and all the inhabitants of the cities, and that which grew on the ground. These 2 verses tell of the method by which God destroyed this city, as well as the things God destroyed. First, the Bible recounts that God burned the city with fire, and that the extent of this fire was enough to destroy all the people and all that which grew on the ground. That is to say, the fire, which fell from heaven, not only destroyed the city, it also destroyed all the people and living things inside it, until not a single trace remained. After the city was destroyed, the land was left bereft of living things. There was no more life, nor any signs of life at all. The city had become a wasteland, an empty place filled with deathly silence. There would be no more evil deeds committed against God in this place, no more slaughter or blood spilled. Why did God want to burn this city so thoroughly? What can you see here? Could God really bear to watch mankind and nature, His own creations, be destroyed like this? If you can discern Jehovah God's anger from the fire that was cast down from heaven, then it is not difficult to see how great His rage was, judging by the targets of His destruction and the degree to which this city was annihilated. When God despises a city, He will deliver His punishment upon it. When God is disgusted with a city, He will issue repeated warnings to inform people of His anger. However, when God decides to put an end to and destroy a city, that is, when His wrath and majesty have been offended, He will deliver no further punishments or warnings. Instead, He will directly destroy it. He will make it utterly disappear. This is God's righteous disposition.